Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Shawn here with Insights, and today we're going to look at implementing IO-Link with Siemens. And the very specific module we're going to be using is the IO-Link module for the ET200AL. In a future video we'll do it for the EcoPN, and then maybe even in the future we'll do it for the S7-1200. I have one of those modules as well. And I do want to thank Siemens for sending in these samples as well as for sponsoring this episode so it's ad-free. So thank you to Siemens. And what we're going to do here is pick up from where we left off in the last video. We're going to reuse that same project, and we're going to implement IO-Link using the S7 PCT, which is an interesting product. I just learned how to use it to get ready for this episode. So let's go over to the computer here. And you can see we're in the program from the last video. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and save this with a new name. I'm going to save as... we'll call it part 1, P1. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and go offline. Okay. And now, when we added the device, because I had the IO-Link already connected to the interface module, you'll see that it shows up here. Okay. And, you know, there's different ways you can set this thing up, but I think the preferred way is to use what Siemens calls their PCT. So I'm going to right click on the IO-Link module and I'm going to do Start Device Tool. And then it says, hey, do you want to start up the S7 PCT? And I'm going to say, like, sure, let's do it. Okay, and here we are. Let me go ahead and shut off the VMware toolbar up there. And so this is what it looks like. And you can see that it has selected here my IO-Link module. If it had something else selected, you just get that information. But you want to definitely select your IO-Link module. That's what we want to configure. And now what I'm going to do here is I've actually rolled my VM back, so it's like I've never used these products before. And because this product that I'm using is not a Siemens product, it's not going to be in the library here in the catalog. And it's just a product that I didn't have a lot of IO-Link products here, so I just grabbed one that was donated by a local customer. And so that particular one, I need to go ahead and add in the IO-Link IODD file for it. Now, we've talked about this in the IO-Link episode. You can go to ioddfinder.com and search for it. And you can also find it over at the vendor's website. I'll put a link in the description to banner.com. But I've already downloaded it just to save time. And so I'm going to go up here to Options. I'm going to import the IODD file. Okay. And let me go browse for it. I think I put it on my desktop. Okay. There it is. And I haven't unzipped it. Let me go ahead and unzip it. Excellent. And you can see it right there. So that's going to be what I want to import. Okay. So let's go here. And there's the IODD file. So let's import it. You got to click this button. When I came over here, I said, oh, it's done. And I didn't click the import button. Of course, it doesn't work if you don't click the import button. Let me go ahead and click on Show, though, first, so you can see what we're looking at here. Okay, so there's a couple different variants there. Let me close that and click on Import. Okay, and it says Success. All right, so we're good there. Let's close it. And then we need to search for it. I think it's a TL50. Let me search for it there. Yep, there it is. And I have the Q model. So I have this plugged into slot or port 4. So I'm going to drop it there. Okay, excellent. Now, we have it in there, right? But let's go ahead and look at the addresses here. Okay, and it's going to give it addresses, well, 0 through 30. So that's a lot of addresses, right? And you know, that's a lot of programming. And I haven't worked with this vendor's IO-Link products before, but there's a lot of stuff in here. So I went ahead and documented this before filming this video because it would be too much to do in the video. And with that, let's go back up here. And right, we've assigned it, right? And we know how much IO it needs, right? This one particular model needs 31 outputs, right? There's no inputs. It just, you write to it and it turns lights on. So with that, let's go ahead and you can do here load with devices. So we'll load this, we'll download it to the device there. All right, we can see here it was successful. And now we're done in here. So I'm going to go ahead and close the PCT. It says, hey, do you want to save the changes back to PLC1? Yes, I do. Okay, that's great. Now there's one thing I want to change here is let's go ahead and look at the IO addressing where it starts it. Okay, and the one thing I want to do here is I want to change the IO addressing not to start at 19. I want it to start at 20, a nice round number. That's easier for me than trying to figure out 19. So I'm going to do the input and output both at 20. I'm really only using the outputs in this example. But with that done, now all my IO tags that I pre-canned should line up. And with that done, let's go ahead and take a look at the tags I created prior to filming, because I had to do a lot of reverse engineering on this light stack because I didn't have the programming software or cable. And I know the programming software is free, but without the cable, I was like, well, let me see if I can figure out how the person who donated it had it set up. And so I created these tags. Once I figured it out, created these tags in Excel and just pasted them in here. So in any case, let's go ahead and download this project to our S7-1500. And while this is loading in, I wanted to talk to you about my S7 PLC course. It's like over 10 hours and growing. And a lot of the stuff I've been showing you over the last couple of weeks are going to make it into that course as official lessons, and that'll add to the professional development hours of the course. And I also have a new digital twin coming for the course. So right now I give away an app that lets you do everything. Let's say you don't have a PC that you want to install the software on. So I have a free app that comes with the course that you can use. And I'm also going to be adding a digital twin, which you'll be able to use with your S7 PLC. As a matter of fact, it'll work with your Control Logics, Compact Logics, FactoryTalk Echo, PLC Sim, S7, S7, 1200 and 1500. So it'll pretty much work in all of my courses except for the legacy stuff. So check that out. I will have a What's New in School when I'm ready to announce that, but I was spending some time with the developer this week and going over what I needed in the digital twin. So I'm excited to bring that out here shortly. But with that said, let's get back to this episode here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my watch table so I can change some of these tags and turn them on and off. And let's see here. Let me go ahead and monitor. Okay, and I'm going to shrink these down so we can actually put the stack light up on the side of the screen here. And I'm going to start with the first one down here. Okay, and let's see here. Let me see if I can't turn it on. Modify to a 1. Okay, yeah, it's on and we got a green. Excellent. Okay, so what's next? Let's go ahead and turn the second one on. I want to change its color though. Let me change the color for station 2. And then we'll turn station 2 on. Again, all these bits are described. Oh, looks like we got red. I think I want to do yellow there though. Let me change the color here. It's more of an orange, but we'll leave it there. And now let me go up to the third station here. We'll turn it on. And let's see if we can change its color here. Okay, red. So, yeah, again, I'll put up a picture of the tech sheet I was using from the vendor to try to figure out how to use this. But you can see here that with the power of IO-Link, you can actually, use multicolored LEDs. These LEDs can flash, they can strobe, they can do all kinds of things. This would not be possible with a couple of digital outs. So with that, that's how you can use IO-Link with the ET200AL. And again, this was the first time I've done IO-Link with Siemens. And I know there's different ways of doing it. You don't have to use the PCT tool if you don't want to, but it seems like they really encourage you to do that. And I got to tell you, once you have that installed, which it should be installed by default with your software when you install it, but in any case, it was pretty easy to use. Just right-click on the IO-Link card, open up the PCT tool, add your IODD file, and boom. The harder thing is trying to understand the vendor's products, and I get a feeling that the reason this was donated to me is because that's a pretty complicated product. Now, they do have a Siemens function block, but I didn't want to go down that road and figure all that out too, so I figured we'd just toggle some bits, get it to come on and off, and you can see how, typically this would be either a digital in or a digital out port, right? But, or maybe a double like this one. But in this case now, because I'm not using IO-Link, I got 32 bytes of information I can write out to this and make these lights flash. I can make them blink. I can change the colors and so on. There's even a horn, which I will not turn on because it's super loud. But in any case, hopefully that makes sense. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, thank you to my customer who donated the stack light here. And thank you to Siemens for sampling the IO blocks and sponsoring this episode to make it ad-free. I want to wish you all good health and happiness. And until next time, my friends, peace.